Hey all, welcome to another video, and look who is back, look who's feeling better. If you saw in my community tab, we had a big scare. Kobe, I almost lost my baby here. He had an adverse reaction to some medication. Actually, it was an antiparasitic that I put on him. And what I didn't know is that some, collies in general have are prevalent to having a gene mutation that can cause common drugs to just be toxic to them. And he was in the hospital for a day, and for about 48 hours, it was a little sketchy, but he's back, we're back. Pop, you ready? You're back? Okay, he wants to go away. The other good news that I have, we are actually here in Castiglione, and that news is we have a bar. We have a new bar here in Castiglione. I'll tell you, last year we had, last year the old bar closed, and anyone that lives here in Italy knows how socially important it is, especially in a small community, to have a bar. And for my American friends, we're not talking about like an American bar where you just go to drink alcohol and become inebriated. No, this is more like the Starbucks / yes, you can drink in the evenings, but it is really a place where people get socially connected and to get out of the house and to meet up. And it's really important, especially in this culture that I've found. So what we're going to do, in fact, I'm sitting here outside in front of the new bar now. And what's great is the old bar was outside of the Castello in the newer part of the town. The new bar is here in the Castello, right here in the piazza. So we have two piazzas. It's the smaller of the piazza, right next to the fountain. So we're here. We're gonna walk into the bar now. I'll show you what it looks like. It's really cool. It was restored beautifully, historically restored beautifully. So let's go in and take a look. Okay, you can see where I was sitting there just a few minutes ago. And this is the entrance here, and this is the piazza that I was talking about. And there's Kobe. Kobe! Good boy. He's my baby. I'm so glad you're feeling better. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the bar. Let's take a look. It is open. Look at all these beautiful flowers that we have here. Isn't that nice? Hello.
Hi.
Wow.
How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good.
So, isn't it great she speaks English?
I try.
And where are you from?
Italy.
No, but where in Italy?
Here in the market.
In the market. All right. And what do we have here in the bar? What is it we can order here?
We have brioche, calzoni with cheese. We have cake and this.
All right, everything we need for colazione, breakfast, and for
cappuccino, cafe, the best in the town.
Wow, fantastic. And when did you guys open?
A week ago.
A week ago.
Yeah.
And it's important to have a bar, right? I was just telling the people that it's important to have a bar in such a small community like this.
Yeah, yeah.
So
really.
I want to walk back here because it's really cool, and I want to show you. We'll take a look, and you can see how this was restored. And really, this is what I would like to do to my place when we look at the beams. And here you have the terracotta tiles that you see here. All right, now looking out. Now this space here, it may seem a little small, but you come in here, you have a place where you can sit down. And come on, Kobe, let's go back here. But check out this area back here, which is really cool. This is very well put together. Very well put together. Look at the work, look at the stonework here on the walls. I mean, I don't know who they had do the work here, but they did a phenomenal job restoring the beams, the plaster, the bathroom area back here. I mean, this was really well done. And if you look at the terracotta flooring, it is just, the work is phenomenal. And I was told that because I said, who did your flooring? Who did this wonderful flooring? And she told me this was the flooring that was already here, and they removed the tiles that someone had placed on top of them. And I can't believe someone would cover this beautiful terracotta tiles. So this is the new bar. So we're gonna walk back out here. Kobe's out running around, well, no, he's not. He's being a good boy, waiting out there for me. So it's time for Kobe and I to get back to work. So we're gonna walk back to Tower House.
Okay.
Thank you for letting us shoot in the bar.
Of course, thank you.
If you come to Castiglione, or if you're an expat that lives here in the area, come by and check out the bar, all right? See ya.
See you, bye-bye.
Come on, Kobe, let's go back home. Time to get some work done. What I need to do is clean up from all the work that I was doing before. I need to reorganize everything and prep for the next task. What I think I'm going to be doing is working on the beams. After seeing the beams in the cafe, I want to start cleaning up that area where there's the terracotta flooring and talk a little bit about, I would say, a bad decision I made. It was a mistake, and we'll go into that more as we get into that area. I have to put some gloves on. Gonna have to move all the coffee back down into the garage. In the future, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with all this coffee, but for now, I definitely need to get it into the garage. Oh, and by the way, in my earlier video, I said, oh, these weigh maybe a pound, maybe a little bit more. These things are about, well, they range in weight from 1.5 kilos to 2 kilos. So they're hefty, especially when you have a stack of them. I think we can arrange these better. Have a mix of old and new. Okay, that's a start. A lot more to go. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna take a break. We moved all the coffee down into the garage. Now we take a quick break, drink some water. You want some water? I know you want water. I want water too, baby. Now we go downstairs. And then, let's see, we're going to move into the other area where, actually we're gonna go into an area of the house that I haven't gone into since I've been creating these videos. I mean, in the intro, you saw all of the house, but we haven't been working in the upper levels of the house. And it's in that second level that I wanted to show you basically a decision that I made, I didn't realize I was making, and covering up something very nice. So unfortunately, it's gonna have to stay that way, but I wanted to point it out to you, so I don't know, maybe you don't make the same mistake. All right. Let's give a little light on the subject here. Lots of spider webs. Okay, as you can see, it's a bit dark in here, so before I start talking more about this space here, I'm gonna open up all the windows and let in some light and get some fresh air in here. This window here is broken, but it should be okay. Lots of light. So I'm standing back here at the area where I came up from the lower level with the ladder. And it's this area of the house that is entirely terracotta. Now obviously you can't see the terracotta. Why? Because it is covered with a layer of rebar and concrete. Now that was my mistake. When I talked to the company that was doing the structural work in the house, I asked, what can we do to make it more earthquake proof, anti-seismic work? And this was their solution. When it happened, I was in the United States. I was there for about a month, and when I came back, I saw what was done. I was happy with it until I realized what had been covered. It's from this angle here that you can clearly see what I was talking about. There's a step here because this is where the original stone stairs were located. And when you look here, you can see here is the terracotta, and then here is the layer of concrete. If I wanted to show the terracotta again, all of this would have to be broken out, and that is definitely not going to happen. So I have to live with what I have and decide what I'm going to do in the future. I could lay another layer of terracotta on top of this, which will increase the weight on the beams below, so I probably won't do that. What I will decide to do, who knows? When I get to that bridge, I'll cross it. So until then, I'm gonna keep working downstairs. Up here, do some organization work. But since we're up here, I wanna point out a couple of things at this level that I haven't talked about before. So one of the few negatives about this house is this part of the ceiling here. Now, from this point on, as you see, I'm reaching up here, I'm touching the floor of the level above. I'm 6'2", 188 centimeters tall, and this is where the ceiling stops. Before there was a layer of plaster here as well, but we broke all of that out. And there's not much headspace here. So luckily, it's only in this section here, which this is where I came up from the ladder. It's about from maybe 10 feet or so. And in this section here, there's really nothing I can do to see about raising the ceiling. I mean, without doing some major, major work. We're talking breaking all this out, removing all these cement beams. That's not going to happen. Luckily, it's just in this small area that I have this problem. One other thing I want to show you is right over here. So looking at the wall here, you can probably tell by the shape here that there used to be a fireplace here. And we had it completely demoed because the fireplace that was here really did not work very well. It was something that was put in the last 100 years or so. It didn't aerate well. I tried using it before. It brought a lot of smoke into the house, and I decided, okay, this thing has to go. I'm not going to block it up though. I'm not going to close it. What I want to do is, the idea I have is to just form it into a seating area here and maybe recess this back a little bit. Or the idea is to put shelves in here, but I don't want to remove it completely, and then I'll clean up the area here on the top. So now I'm moving to the opposite side of the room, and here is something interesting. If you look here at the wall, clearly see that at some point in history, there were two passageways that led into the next room, or actually the next house. You can see the beam here and then the blocks. There's one here and there's one there. Now in the past, I could peer through the hole that's over here and actually see into the storage room of the next house. I think it's been blocked off by now, at least on the other side, because I know that house has been sold. But it got me to thinking, how big was this house at one point? I mean, this is around 2,000 square foot as it sits. Now, if it was connected to the house next door, which is multi-level, I mean, the space would have been quite big, especially when you're talking about being in Centro Storico, this historic center of a small village like this. But probably what will happen, because this is really a mix of stone and brick, and it's just, this is not something that can be restored like this, I think, without actually maybe tearing it down or putting some sort of stone cladding on it. Most likely, because this will probably be a bathroom, that this will be plastered. There is, let's see here, we have a stone wall here, another stone wall there that could probably be restored, but for sure this wall is going to end up being plastered. So now we're going to move in to another part of the house that looks out onto the valley. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about this space here. If you saw the introductory video, there was a kitchen that was visible earlier on in the video. That kitchen used to be right here. And there was a wall here, and then from the kitchen it looked out this window here. We demoed this wall thinking that this room was going to be expanded. But probably what's going to happen is the wall will come back up, this will be a laundry room, and this room here will be a bedroom. So as you can see, there's a beautiful view from these windows. It looks out onto the valley and onto the tower. You can clearly see the section where I did the work with the copy. Okay, so it's time for me to go back to the lower level where Kobe's waiting. I'm going to close everything up. We're going to head downstairs and start looking at the terracotta ceiling. Okay, I'm back here in the workshop. I made it safely down from the ladder. And now what we're going to do is look at the beams. Now, I pointed out in the bar how beautiful the beams were and how that work was done and how I would like mine to look like that. But before I can do that, I have to do some cleaning, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. To get a better look at the ceiling here, I'm going to use these stairs. That way I don't have to move the scaffolding here. But you can clearly see the beams here, the original beams and the terracotta tiles. And the problem is there's this overflow. I don't know what this is. It's not cement. Maybe it's a plaster that someone injected here. I don't know what exactly it is, but it doesn't look good. So what I want to do is break this out without damaging the terracotta or the wood, so that way in the future I can come back and clean all of this up. Because the way it looks now with this overflow, it just doesn't look good. So I'm going to start working on that now. So what I'm going to try using is a chisel and a hammer to see if I can kind of just lightly break that out without doing any damage. I don't think this is very difficult to get off. What I don't want to do is damage the terracotta. Oh, that came off pretty easy. It's going to be a lot easier than I thought to clean up. It's like a chalk. I don't know what this is. But it seems to come off easy enough. Oh wow, I didn't even need the hammer for that one. So it's coming off a lot easier than I thought, but I do have a big area to do here. I'm not going to be able to finish it today. I have to go pick up my son from school. So we'll pick this up in another video where I'll finish this and we'll get on to some other tasks.